get it in there?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, we're recording now. Okay. So sorry about that, guys. This apparently Facebook's having an issue. There's nothing I can do about that. For those of you in general who didn't hear that offer, if you are not yet ready for Epic Pitch Mastery, you can go to epicpitch.com/newsletter and check out an offer we have for you to keep getting help after this event. Okay. They're waiting on the edge. Yeah. epicpitch.com/newsletter. Okay. So we'll just have to post this in the group. And if you guys fix it, Joe, you let me know and it pays to be VIP. Okay. So we'll fix it. I have ideas for the next one. I don't want to rely on Facebook. So, hopefully it gets fixed because for when David comes on, obviously. Okay. So I actually covered 2 sessions in one, guys. So when you see, yeah. So this one right here, I actually combined the last 2. So we're gonna move on to this one right here is the no offer presentation, okay? How I earned $3,500 in one day without a product. So this is really cool. What if I told you, first of all, who here would love to make money with this, even if you don't have an offer to sell? Would that be cool? Would that be cool? Okay. Oh, okay. So what if I told you the richest people in history, some of the richest people in history, never created a single product of their own? So in 1963, David McConnell was a struggling book salesman who couldn't sell a single book. Instead of trying to write his own book, he noticed something interesting. Women loved the free perfume samples he gave out with the books because he would give out these free perfume samples. And he started focusing entirely on selling other people's perfumes, giving such compelling presentations that women would invite him into their homes. That same pivot of selling someone else's product through great presentation turned into Avon, a $5.5 billion company. Now, McConnell never manufactured a single bottle in those early days. He just mastered the art of presentation. So, wait till you hear this. When I was in my mid-20s, maybe late 20s actually, right before I started really getting into actually starting a business, a couple of years before, I needed money really bad. Now, I wasn't that good at this, but I had an idea, right? You see, at the time, there was a company called HostGator, and they would pay $150 every time you would refer somebody to sign up for web hosting. Now, HostGator was like 10, 12 bucks a month for hosting, but they knew the lifetime value of their customers, so they were paying $150 per referral. And so I tried to be an affiliate. I tried to have a blog. I tried to, do all these tactics. I bought these affiliate Anybody ever buy an affiliate marketing course? You guys ever buy affiliate marketing courses? Books, yeah. So I bought them and I tried them, but they were a lot of work. It took a lot of time, and I just never really made a lot of money. And look, $150 per sale is really good. $150 to get someone to sign up for web hosting. I thought that was a very great offer. I just couldn't figure out how to make any decent money with it, right? And so what I did was I had an idea. I was like, well, hold on a second. I thought, what if I could, instead of trying to build a blog and all this and sell a bunch of these one at a time, what if I tried to sell a bunch of them all at once? And so I thought, okay, who wants web hosting that doesn't have web hosting? And I thought about it, and I was like, people that want to start a blog. People that want to start a blog They don't have web hosting, and they need web hosting. They need WordPress, they need web hosting, they need a domain. So I was like, okay, people that want to start a blog. People start blog. Then I thought, okay, how can I get a bunch of people to start a blog all at once? So I went to the Micro Budget Hotel in Spring Hill, Florida, and I paid like 150, 200 bucks, and I rented a room, a conference room at the hotel. And that was a conference room that was like 100, like I think it was about 150 bucks. And I had it for the whole day. And it was a conference room. Then I went on Facebook, I went on Craigslist, and I started posting, hey, I'm doing a free blogging seminar at the Micro Budget Hotel on this day at this time. And so I had 30 people end up coming, no, 33, I think, end up coming, 33 people came to this little event I had where I taught them how to find a topic for their, because I did have a blog, I knew how to do that. I didn't make money with a blog. Well, I made a little bit of money, but that wasn't the point of the event. It was just how to start a blog. I wasn't a big blogger. I wasn't super successful. I just knew how to start a blog and they didn't. It was a nut and bolt offer. They came to the Micro Budget Hotel. They listened to me show them how to pick a topic, write a post, install WordPress. Okay, so I filled the room with the right people who wanted to start a blog. I showed them how to pick topics for their blogs, all this. I said the right thing, and then I made the right offer to people that wanted to start a blog. And you know what that was? Okay, guys, now that you know this, it's time to get a domain and web hosting. So here's a link. Go click it and sign up at HostGator. It's only 10 bucks a month. You know what that link was? My affiliate link. And almost the whole room signed up under my HostGator link all at one shot. And I made $3,500 that day. And I left that hotel with no business, no product to fulfill on, but I had 3,500 bucks. Why? Because it wasn't a product or a business that made me the money. It was the presentation. I filled the room with the right people. I said the right thing, and I made the right offer. And so the point here is that the greatest fortune isn't in owning the gold mine. It's knowing how to sell the gold. That should be in your workbook. The profits aren't in the product. They're in the power to present it. Here's a few more. You don't need to build the bridge to collect the toll. The fortune lies not in the invention, but in the invitation. The wealth isn't what you own, but in what you can make known. The greatest profit comes from not creating the path, but from showing the others the way on the path. Guys, you don't need a product. If you have a product, that's better, but you don't need a product. You can pick a product that pays high commissions. You can master a presentation. You can get people there, and boom. And here's another thing. So, guys, do you know how much money I've been paid by, I don't promote them anymore. Well, I think I still do because they're in some of my old courses. But do you know how much I've made in commissions from ClickFunnels? How many of y'all made in commissions from ClickFunnels? How many of y'all made? Y'all do that? GHL? Okay, how much y'all make in either GHL or ClickFunnels? How much have you made in commissions from promoting those companies? Anything? I've made well into the 7 figures just from commissions. Do you know how? Because when I did an ad and I went to a webinar, I taught something which led to a course. Could have led to a service, could have led to anything, a book to call, whatever. But on that webinar, I said, I have a free gift for you. You know what the gift was? It was this little sample funnel. And when they went and clicked on that funnel, that took them to ClickFunnels. And they paid me whatever, 40% commission. Okay? Now, here's the crazy part. I had so many people going to that webinar, that course, that I made 7 figures just off these commissions. Here's another funny thing for you. I asked Russell if, well, is this coming up later? Hold on. Oh, this is next. Oh, this is great. Okay, let's just jump right into it. So look, check this out. Pitch breakdown. How would you like to know how I sold 128 copies of a $2,000 book in just 3 hours? Would you guys like to know that? And a book that I didn't even write. Yeah? Okay, so this right here is me, Russell Brunson, and Dan Kennedy talking. And as you can see here, Russell is, look at that. Look how tired Russell is. Look how tired he is. He's so tired. He's a little tired guy. I bet he is because he was running a big conference. Okay? Now, the reason why we're holding up this book right here is because I got invited to Russell's office once for, I don't remember, I won an affiliate contest or something. And he hands me this book that you see here, this magnetic story selling book. And he says, Dan, I got a gift for you. I said, what's the gift? And he said, oh, I bought Dan Kennedy's company and I found all these recordings of events he did and I transcribed them and I made him this copywriting book. I was like, wow, this is really cool. He's like, yeah. I'm like, what are you gonna do with this? He's like, I don't know. I'm like, what do you mean you don't know? And he's like, well, I don't know. And I mean, the book looked, hold on, let me see if I have a copy. Do I have a copy? Yes, I do. Look at this book. It's so nice. Look at the design work that went into it and all this. And he hands it to me. And I'm like, dude, this thing, you could murder someone with this. You don't want to have this around the ex-wife. Like you could just, right? I'm like, you put work into this. And so he says he didn't have any plans for it yet. And I'm like, what do you mean? And I look at him, I go, Russell, I could sell this book for $1,000. You should sell it for $1,000. And he goes, you can't sell a book for $1,000. And I was like, yes, you can. I can. He's like, no, you can't. I'm like, I could sell it for $2,000. And he's like, no, come on. I'm like, whatever, right? Whatever. I go home. I read the book. And I'm just geeking out. I'm like, this is the best copy. I mean, I literally spent freaking weeks studying this. I was just, even now looking at it, I'm just geeking out now, right? And I was like, you know what? This is bullshit, okay? So I sent Russell a Vox. I sent him a text Vox thing. And you know what? I sent him a sales letter. I wrote a sales letter. I said, hey, Russell, here's a sales letter for the Write Like Dan Challenge. And I sent him a sales letter for a 3-day event where I will teach you how to write like Dan Kennedy. I sent him the sales letter and he responds back and he goes, holy crap. He goes, all right, I'm in. So Russell hooks me up with Molly from Magnetic Marketing, which is Dan Kennedy's company. And we planned the Write Like Dan Challenge. I had 3 hours. 3 hours, 1 hour a day for 3 hours, and I told them to charge for it, and they didn't listen. They didn't listen. It's okay. It's okay. So it was a free event, even. I don't think Russell thought it was going to work, so he sent like a few emails out, but he didn't really promote it that hard, right? So we didn't have like that many people on. I think we only had maybe, how many people were on? Yes, do you remember? You were on. Do you remember how many people were on that? Many, but it wasn't like a lot for Russell's audience. Was it like 500, 300, something like that? 300. It was 300? Yeah, so 300. So we have more people on this challenge. So here's what happened. And I want to show you this because I don't want you to think I'm a liar, all right? I had 3 hours to pitch this book, and this is what happened. I literally sent this. I wanted to make sure I got the numbers right before I showed you this. So I sent Molly a text recently. I said, hey, Molly, do you remember if I sold 128 copies of the Magnetic Storytelling book during the 3-day event, or was it 128,000 in sales? And she goes, you sold 128 copies. And I said, holy banana hammock, that's $250,000 in books. I sold $250,000 in books in 3 hours. And I'm going to break down how I did it. Now, real quick, after that, Russell, you guys have seen ads for it. Russell was like, oh, he starts promoting it after that. He's like, holy crap, right? I said, you should have let me sold your 20K offer. That's what you should have done. Now, to the point, I did not write this book. You know what my offer to Russell was? I said, Russell, I will do a challenge for 3 days. I will write the event. I will script the event. I will perform the event. Just give me a little percentage. Just give me a cut. He's like, okay. They now run that challenge on autopilot. They run recordings of it. And I got a cut. I got a cut of the live, and I get a cut of all the automated. And I'm not gonna, because, you know, keep our business private, but let me just say that we fill the room with the right people, said the right thing. I said that, Russell filled the room. I said the right thing, and we made the right offer, which was a $2,000 book. And I'm just gonna tell you, I get checks every month from Russell. And they're not small checks. And I didn't write this book. I just talked for 3 hours, and that's all I did. And I get royalties now. Think about that. The book didn't make me the money the presentation did. $2,500? Oh, you probably got the pay plan. I don't know. Maybe, was it $2,500? Crap, I did more than that then. Okay, so how did I do it? How did I do this? How did I do this? Do you guys want me to break it down? Are you guys liking this? Is this exciting? I need to cut some stuff the next time I do this, so I'm assuming you don't want me to cut this one, right? Freaking, okay. All right, so. No, it's not because I'm super talented. It's because I understand it, which allows me to master it. Joe, are we doing good on the stream? Anything there, or is the world still down?
I can't even post in the group.
Okay, it's fine. All right, we'll post it later. All right, so.
I'm getting an email out to him.
Yeah. All right, so what is the point? The point is this. Okay. Who here, hey, I think this is a good book. It's a great copywriting book. Who here is like ready to give $2,000? This book is still $2,000. You can buy it right now for $2,000. I hope you do, because I get a cut. Who here is just like, yeah, let me give you $2,000 for a freaking book? Who here is, or are you kind of like come at me if you're kind of like thinking $2,000 for a book? Yeah, me. Okay, you don't want to give me $2,000 for a book, right? Some of you might. Some of you, see, you buy it. Most people, when they came on that event, did not think they were going to get pitched a $2,000 book. And I bet you if I just said, this book's great, buy it, they probably would not buy it. This is a book about copywriting. What do you have to care about to spend $2,000 on a book about copywriting? What do you have to care about? Copy. Now, Dan Kennedy's audience is not marketers. They're doctors and lawyers and people like that. Do you think doctors and lawyers and people like that care about copy? Do you? Do you? Marketers care about copy. No, not really, no. So what was my job? My job was to convince a bunch of doctors and lawyers and people like that to care about copy so they'd spend $2,000 on a book about copy. Not an easy task. However, I understand the fundamentals. So here's how I opened it. I said, and I did this bit during this event too. I said, imagine you're walking down the street and you see 2 lemonade stands, okay? And lemonade stand on the left says freshly squeezed lemonade, and the lemonade stand on the right says yellow water with sugar. I didn't even write it out. I just said it. Imagine you're walking down the street and there's a lemonade stand on the left that says freshly squeezed lemonade. And there's a lemonade stand on the right that says yellow water with sugar. Which one do you buy? And everybody says the one on the left. And so then I say, well, why? And they say, well, because it sounds more appetizing. It just sounds better. I said, So what you're telling me is, and by the way, it's the same lemonade. They bought it from the same supplier. You still want this one. Why? Because it sounded better. And so I said, so what you're telling me is people don't necessarily buy good products. They buy products that sound good. Oh, gears start turning. Then I said, you see, words are everything. Every relationship started and ended because of words. Every war started and ended because of words. Every president was elected or lost an election because of the words they chose to say to the American people. And every company is built based on the words they choose to say to their customer or destroy. And when you use words to build a business, that is called copy. And copy is king, and kings rule the world. Now, language shapes reality. I had to set the precedent that copy was important, the most important thing in their business. And I did that multiple times in multiple ways. And then I broke down objections that they had. And by the end of the event, they cared so deeply about copy that spending $2,000 on a book about copy seemed like a no-brainer rather than something an insane person would do. But if I just said, buy this $2,000 book on copy, it's great, that would seem insane. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't care what you do. I don't give two hoots whether you're a doctor, you're a lawyer, you're a coach, you have an agency, etc. If you can learn how to describe what you do better, if you can learn to make what you do sound as good as it truly is, you will have a never-ending supply of premium clients that never go away, ever. And when you have that, you have more money. And when you have more money, you have the ability to solve problems that allow you to find the one thing that people say money can't buy, which is happiness. And they're right. Money cannot buy happiness, but it sure as hell can solve a lot of problems that make you unhappy. And it can give you the time and space to have an opportunity to find your happiness. And at the end of the day, what do people want? They want to be happy. Well, that requires money. And in order for you to have that money, you have to describe what you do better than your competitors. And if you can do that, you will have sales. So basically, one good presentation not only erases all the horrible financial decisions you've ever made, but it completely and utterly changes your life. It completely and utterly transforms the quality of your life for the rest of your life. And it starts there. It makes everything better. So, does that make sense? That reframing of beliefs. Yes? Okay. Oh my gosh. I turned the ring. We had some complaints about the ringer going off constantly. So I have more people, but I did want to shut it off because I knew you guys, it was cool the first time, but then it got a little obnoxious. I agree. So, all right. Free presentations. Sorry. That's a different one. Okay. Here's what I want you to write down in your workbook. This is very important. All right. Ready? People already care about what you have to say. Saying the right thing makes you take action. People already care to grow their business. They just don't realize that copy makes them grow their business. People already want to have more moments with their children. They just don't realize that if they do this certain thing, they'll lose weight and then they can, or they'll have less pain. Their chronic pain will go away. And that we had I'm so sorry, I forget his name, but we had a doctor, I believe, come on earlier in VIP. Well, we are in VIP right now, but and mentioned, you know, that his patients, they have chronic pain, right? But the thing is, it's not about the chronic pain. It's about what changes their life because they have chronic pain. They can't play with their kids. They can't live life to the fullest. You're only on this planet for 70 to 80 years. What could possibly be more important than enjoying that time? And if you have chronic pain, you can't enjoy it. It's not about the pain. It's literally about you living your life. And when you realize that it's about living your life, you'll invest in the doctor that helps you get rid of the pain so you can live your life. It's never been about the pain. It's never been about the back. It's never been about any of that. It's never been about peasants. I understand. Guys, look, if I had a magic wand that I could wave and get 10, 15, 20 clients at a time, I would not do paid presentations. I would not do any of this stuff. I would just wave the freaking magic wand. But guess what? I don't have a magic wand. It doesn't exist. The closest thing I can get to a magic wand is what I'm teaching you. So that's what I do. That's it. So I hope, no matter what, I hope you guys walk away understanding this, and I hope this changes your life in some small way. Yes, people already care about what you have to say. Saying the right thing makes them take action. They already care. People already want to make money. They already want to be happier, and they already want to be healthier. So if you're in health, wealth, and happiness, which that's only 3 markets, they already care about what you have to say. You're just not saying it. You're just not saying it well enough. You got to get them to think about it. Okay. So think about it this way. How many of you here have somebody that you care about, that you got into a fight with or something happened and you haven't talked to them in years because you just have some sort of beef going on? Say me if you have anyone like that in your life. Daniel says me. Gabriel says me. Okay? Look, Gabriel, Daniel, let me ask you, do you wake up every morning, look in the mirror, and pretend like you're getting dressed for that person's funeral? Do you do that? Yes or no? Do you do that? No. Why don't you do that? Because it feels what? You don't do that because it feels, tell me in the chat, it feels shitty. Exactly. It feels bad. It feels bad to do that. If you got up every morning and you looked in the mirror and you pretended you were preparing for their funeral, do you think you'd end up eventually calling them pretty quickly? Do you think so? Yes. Yes, you would, of course. So here's the thing. Human beings are naturally programmed, and you guys should know this if you've studied anything about psychology, they are naturally designed to avoid pain and seek pleasure. You go away from pain and towards pleasure. However, what is often on the other side of pain is greatness. If you did that painful thing and you thought about that person every day, you would eventually talk to them. And that could be great. And I'll tell you, you know why this personally resonates with me? You know why I tell this story? My business blew up several years ago, and we started doing the sales team thing, and it worked. It was a lot to deal with. It was a lot of BS. We made money, but it was just a lot. And I got so busy with that whole situation that I ignored my family. I'm just going to say it. I just didn't give them enough time, and me and my wife ended up getting divorced. And for the next 3 years, I lived a very bad life. I partied, I drank, I did drugs. Well, not mostly weed, but you get the point, right? I just did a lot of partying, and I did not find happiness. And I constantly asked my wife, let's get back together. Because I'm not going to lie to you, me and my wife, we're coming from completely different cultures. We have somewhat different religious views. We have a lot that makes it hard for us to get along, but we love each other, and we have a son, and I wanted to make it work. And sometimes we both want to kill each other, but I asked her, we need to get our family back together. I don't want any of this. And she looked at me and she was like, Dan, I just saw you on a yacht with like 20 girls that look like strippers. What are you talking about? What do you mean you want to get back with me? I'm like, oh, I'll give that all up. And she's like, no. She's like, this is not an if this, then that situation, right? And you know what I realized was that what I really realized there was that I didn't deserve her. I didn't deserve her. I was not the person that deserved it. And so I started cleaning up my life. I cleaned up my life. I got rid of friends. I stopped drinking. I gave up alcohol. And over the course of several months, I cleaned up my life, and she started to notice. And next thing you know, the conversations changed. And one day she texted me and she said, okay, let's get back together. And later that month, we got remarried. And it's because I learned a couple things. Number one, I learned that if you want something, stop focusing on having that thing and start focusing on becoming the person that deserves it. If you just focus on becoming the person that deserves it, those things will naturally happen. And, you know, right now my wife and my kid are at a resort. I sent them to a resort. I just said, I need 3 days. I do my thing. I do my boop, boop, boop. I won't take sales calls. I'm not going to manage the sales team. I'm not going to do it. I don't want it. It ruined my life. I made money, but it ruined my life. I don't want to do it. Sorry. I'm just not going to do it. Sorry. That's why I do this. That's why I'm able to now go to Thailand for 10 days. I'm able to spend time with my family. I'm able to do all this stuff. I'm able to go to my friend's wedding because I don't have to constantly every day manage this complex machine. I can make this machine simple. And that's why this means a lot to me. And that's why it means a lot to me to teach you guys this, okay? But here's what I really wanted to tell you. During the time we were divorced, it was during COVID, and my wife's father got sick, and my wife had got into a fight with her father years ago, and they didn't talk for like 7 years. And I remember constantly, she would try to pick up the phone and call, and she never could bring herself to do it. And I would say, well, why not? You know, I'll do it tomorrow, right? And whenever I talk to him, I'm like, honey, like, what happens if something happens? I don't want to think about it. I don't want to think about it. So she never called. He got COVID. He got sick. He wasn't going to make it. She tried to call the hospital to at least talk to her father before he passed. And I don't know why. I don't know how you can get COVID through the phone, but for some reason, they wouldn't let her talk to him on the phone for safety. Her father passed, and she never got to speak to him. And what's worse for me is I went to her door, I saw her crying about it, and I wasn't married to her, and I said, hey, let me come in, let me help, let me talk to you, let me be there for you, and she didn't even want to talk to me. She just, no, just leave, go. I was nothing to her at that point. I couldn't even be there for her. I wasn't her husband. We weren't connected, and that moment really made me realize that, people don't do shit unless they think about how painful it is not to do it. Just like when I was partying, I wasn't thinking about what it was like to live my life without seeing my son every day, without having my wife. And when I started thinking about it, I took the action. One reason I love marketing and persuasion and all these things is not because I want to sell people. It's because I want to show people the thing that I want to make them comfortable doing the thing they already want to do. And that is what real marketing is. It's when someone has a pain in their life, a problem that is so freaking painful that it can ruin their life, it can drastically lower their quality of life, and you have a solution. You can solve it. You can get rid of it. But you don't know how to get them to realize it. And you know how you get them to realize it? You say the right thing so they think about it. You say the right thing so they stand in the mirror, they look, and they go, I'm getting ready for my friend's wedding. And I know that sounds painful, but that's what you have to do. You have to show them how painful it is to not have that, so that they actually take action and do the thing that they already wanted to do in the first place and hire you to fix the problem. They just weren't comfortable, or they just weren't thinking about it. That is what marketing is to me. That is what sales is to me. Because if they don't have that problem, then that means it's not going to ruin their life. And if it's not going to ruin their life, then all the stuff I'm teaching you ain't going to work. And you shouldn't use it anyway. You should only use it to solve real problems for real people and transform their lives. And that's why I teach what I do. So, if there's one thing I can tell you, it's this. Your job is to say words that make people think about what it's like to not solve the problem. And if you can do that, they will take action to solve the freaking problem. Okay. How are we doing on time? 1 hour and 15 minutes. All right, so let's do this. For the pitch breakdown, how I made $120,000 in 1 week with a $1,000 offer, that is basically me breaking down a webinar that sells our AI copywriting software. Let me do that. Let me go ahead and do that and post it in the group for you guys, and I won't delete it. How about that? I won't delete it. You guys can watch anytime. I'm very tired. My voice is going. So if you guys will just give me some time, I will make that video. I will post it in the group, and I won't delete it. I'll just leave it there. Okay. That way we can stay on time. Is that okay with everybody? The Facebook group, the Epic Pitch Challenge Facebook group, which when Facebook decides to get their act together, you can go watch it. Okay. All right. All right, so next. Breaking the golden rule. Why you should always sell 2 offers together. Now, this one is very important. How many of you guys here say, never sell 2 offers? Never have 2 offers. You're going to confuse your clients. How many of you guys have heard that? That's what I've learned. Okay. That's what you've learned, right? That's garbage. That's stupid. I'm not going to lie to you. That's the dumbest advice I've ever heard. It's just dumb. It's just dumb. I'm sorry. It's just dumb. Okay. And I'm going to show you why it's dumb. So I believe 80% of you, 80% of entrepreneurs are literally throwing thousands of dollars away every time you make a sale. Even worse, your most eager customers are begging to give you this money. In 1995, actually, you know what? Let me record this. Record this on my camera, which I should have been doing this whole time. Anyway, okay. So, what if I told you that 80% of entrepreneurs are throwing away thousands of dollars every time they make a sale? And even worse, your most eager customers are begging you to give this money. In 1995, Starbucks made a seemingly crazy decision. While already a successful selling regular coffee successfully, they introduced the Frappuccino, a premium blended drink that costs nearly double. Critics said that nobody would pay $4 to $5 for a freaking cup of coffee. That year, Frappuccinos drove a 70% increase in sales. 70%. Today, premium drinks account for billions in revenue. What is the lesson from this? The lesson from is when you give people the option to upgrade their experience, many will happily do so. Even better, those premium customers will become your most loyal advocates. Guys, when you saw Merrill come on here, would you say he was a loyal advocate for me? Would you say he was a loyal advocate? He was in my $55,000 mastermind, I think at least 3 years in a row, 2 or 3 years in a row. He paid me 6 figures. And he's one of my most, and of course, as you heard, it radically transformed his business. So not only was I able to, he invested at the highest level, but I was able to transform his business at the highest and serve at the highest level, which made him one of my most loyal advocates, like Laurel, like Andy, like I could list off a lot of names. Write this down. Write this down. The greatest disservice in business isn't overpricing. It's under offering. It's under offering. When Chris Ruth, y'all ever been to Ruth Chris Steakhouse? Y'all ever been to that? It's a thing in America, in Florida. Okay, you've been there. Okay, so when they first opened, they served excellent steaks to satisfied customers, but they noticed something fascinating. Their highest value customers kept asking for private rooms and special experiences. Instead of ignoring these requests, they created their private dining experience, complete with dedicated servers, customized menus, and premium service. This premium offering now generates up to 20% of their total revenue, despite only being chosen by a small percentage of customers. Even more interesting, these premium clients become their biggest word-of-mouth advertisers, bringing in more customers for both tiers of service. Guys, when I work with somebody as a private client, when I work with Laurel, and we take a little idea and turn it into a 7-figure business, do you know how often Laurel talks about working with me? I mean, dude, I love her. She's amazing. And I only spent a day with her. And she has talked about me for years. And she built over that time a big audience. And she constantly talks about me, which has grown my audience. Okay? So think about this. If I never offered that premium level, and I never had the opportunity to serve at that premium level, I would not have ever been able to create a premium experience for that client, which means all those years of her talking about me and sending free eyeballs to me and being one of my most loyal advocates would have never happened. So by you guys not offering an ultra premium experience, you're doing you a disservice, you're doing your clients a disservice, and you're doing your family a disservice. Because if you build a big business, it helps your family. You're doing the whole world a disservice. So, write this down in the workbook. To serve at the highest level, you must first create the highest level. First class exists. Guys, you have a plane, right? Here's your plane. It's a terrible looking plane, but here's your plane. That's actually not that bad. So here, yeah, here's the plane. It's a pretty good plane, right? Yeah, okay. So here's the plane. Now, you have all these seats. What is at the front of every plane? Or most planes, especially international flight. What's at the first? Or what? Business and first class. Business and first class. Now, when you come in, you have to walk through first class to get to coach. How many times have you walked through first class on an international flight, especially, and there's like nobody in first class? People, there, in the whole plane, there will always be people that just want to fly first class. Sorry, they just do. They just do. And yes, walking through creates FOMO. So first class exists in every industry, aviation, restaurants, everything. If you don't create it, they will find it elsewhere. If you don't create it, they will find it elsewhere. They're going to give the money to somebody. Now, write this down. Someone in your audience always wants first class. Someone in this, you know how I know that? Because we've already had 3 people take the private client program. We've already had 3 people take the client program, and then another 2 people before the challenge even started. That's 5 this month, 5 new private clients at $50,000 each just this month. But what if I didn't offer it? Okay? Write this down in the book. First class isn't about luxury. It's about letting others choose their level of commitment. First class is not about luxury. It's about letting others choose their level of commitment. Okay? Now, how do you do this? Okay, it's very simple. Guys, this is not hard. Here's your event, right? Your paid presentation event. Okay? I want you to view it on a linear scale. Okay? Now, I'm just using mine as an example, right? So by the end of this event, what do I want you to do? I want you to invest, well, I don't want all of you to, I want 30 of you to invest in Epic Pitch Mac. I would like to get, I'd be happy with 20 new clients. That's fine. 20 new clients at $25K each? Who's shaking a stick at that, right? I want to get at least 15, 20, 30 would be great, whatever, clients for Epic Pitch Mastery. Maybe for you, it's your bookkeeping service or your tax service, or maybe for you, it's your whatever, right? You want 10, 15, 20, 30 new clients, okay? So that's what I want. I want a bulk of clients. That's the goal by the end of the event. Now this is 25K, all right? Okay, so how do I make it a first class version of this? So with this, there's workshops every week where I get on and I work with you and I help you build this whole thing out, and my team signs off on it. It's a great program. But some people, they want more. So what do I offer? I offer private client. Now, there's a very important reason why I'm drawing this at the beginning of the linear scale. And I'll tell you what that reason is in a second. It's extraordinarily important. It's extraordinarily important, okay? So, just like Merrill said, he has $50,000, okay? It's very important. So for me, this is 50K. And by the way, that's not the most expensive thing I sell. I also sell a 100K where I personally script your challenge. Like I literally write it with my fingers, okay? So this is not even my highest level. I do this for the big dogs who don't even want to mess with it. They're just like, here's what I do, make it. I said, okay. So what is this to that? All I do is my private clients get this anyway. That's included. But I don't have to create anything extra for this. I just have to create a higher level of service. So I say, okay, if you want to become a private client, you'll get this, but here's what's going to happen. You fly out to Dubai, or we can do it when I'm in America in February. We spend an entire day together, one full day, like I did with Laurel, like I did with Andy. I go through your entire business and I sit there and I help you script everything out, make business decisions, modify your offer, your message, the whole thing. And believe me, I can get it done in one day. In fact, with Laurel, we got it done early. If I remember, Laurel, we got done early. And I mean, I don't need that long, right? If I can get you in a room in person and I can get you to focus, I can figure this all out in a matter of a day. Sometimes we do it on Zoom. I'll do like 2, 3 or 4 hour sessions or whatever, but here's what happens, right? So this is a day for me, and then I give them my number for 6 months, and they can text me a question anytime they want. So why is it at the beginning of the scale? It's at the beginning of the scale because what I did when I first brought you guys on this, and I've done this for years, it works really well, is I'm upfront. I say, hey, I have this to sell. This is what I sell. And it's true. This is what I sell. And then I say, now you can enjoy the event. So then later, when I tell you about Epic Pitch Mastery, and I had several people comment this. In fact, who was it? Was it Janine? I think it was Janine. I saw a comment in the group. She said, I was worried about 50K this whole time, but man, I can do 25K. Was that you that commented that? Got it. Now here's why that works. Here's why you had that in your head. If you've ever read, and this is going to instantly make you all more money right now. You'll walk away with the ability to make more money right now. If you ever read the Chris Voss books, Never Split the Difference, he's an FBI hostage negotiation expert. And he said that he made a very simplistic example. He said, if you go to a hotel checkout on a busy day and you just say, I need a late checkout, that's like, now they're already busy. The lady at the counter is like, oh, this guy wants a late checkout, right? But if you go to the counter and you say, listen, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry I have to do this to you. I'm going to ruin your day. This is just absolutely going to ruin your day. Now they're thinking, oh my gosh, this guy, there's a dead body. This guy trashed the hotel room. What am I going to have to deal with? And then you say, I need a late checkout. Now they're like, oh, that's it? So you set the expectation high. Oh my gosh, he's ruined the room. And then when you say, I want to late checkout, if you just say late checkout, it's a burden. But if it compares to this, it's now a relief. So burden, relief. So I sell this. So what I do is I say, hey, this is what I sell, 50K. If I didn't say this, and then I said, oh, 25K, you're like, oh gosh, 25K, what a burden. But if I say this is what I sell, which I do, and then I say 25K later, then you're like, oh, I can do 25K. And many people will take the 50 anyway. So the point here, the contrast principle, thank you. Yes. So the point here is whatever you sell, make a higher version of it. And here's how you do that. You say to yourself, for me to give personal attention to my client, what would I need to charge where it'd be worth it? What would I need to charge for me to personally work with them at a much higher service level? And what do they want? Now, why do I do the private client program? Because people said, Dan, I just want a day. How much for a day? Can I just text you? I just want to text you my idea and I want an answer. What is that? What is that? And I was like, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. And one day, I can't remember who it was who said that to me. They said to me, well, would you do it for 10 grand? I said, no. I said, would you do it for 20 grand? I said, no. I said, would you do it for 30 grand? I said, no. I said, would you do it for 40 grand? I said, probably not. I'd maybe do it for 40 grand, maybe. And they said, would you do it for 50 grand? And I was like, well, yeah, I would do it for 50 grand. I'll do a day for 50 grand. I mean, I text people anyway. I would text you for 6 months. Yeah, I would do that. And he's like, well, why don't you do that? It's like, oh. All right. So I just offered it. This was like 6 or 8 months ago. I just started offering it. I was like, hey, private client. 3 people just this month. And by the way, guys, I don't text anybody. I'm not a texter. So I have plenty of time to text my clients. And so, yeah. So just do that. And you will instantly, raise your prices challenge. I did this. I had almost half the people that bought by the mastermind. And back then it was just a mastermind. Anyway, was this helpful? Did this help show you how you can pretty much instantly make more money with whatever you do? Yes? All right, awesome. Okay, let me get a drink of water. Joe, are you letting David know about the situation? He can come on this Zoom and then we'll post it later. Or is Facebook still down or what?
Yeah, it's still giving me issues of being able to stream.
Is it in the news or something?
Yeah, WhatsApp is down too. Nor just messaged me saying WhatsApp is still down too for him.
All right. Well, we'll figure, maybe we'll just do these all on Zoom and we'll just do 2 Zooms, VIP and then general. So we don't even have to worry about this.
Yeah, we're going to figure something out because we're not going to do it like this again. It's problematic.
This used to be so easy. We've now learned, don't involve Facebook. Zoom is fine. Okay. All right. All right. So, yes, less resistance. Okay. All right. I want to cover a couple things now since I got you guys. First of all, how would you all, first of all, if I were to end the event right now, would you guys be happy with your investment? I'm not going to end the event, but you would. Okay, amazing. I'm going to teach you a couple more things, and then I want to bring in David J. Phillips, which you think I'm a good speaker? I'm terrible compared to this guy. This guy is like, I mean, his nickname is the world's greatest public speaker, so I don't feel bad about not being as good as him. But Marty's here. Okay, let me bring Marty on here in a minute. I love Marty. Marty's awesome. Marty did it. Yeah, we did a day. He was at my house. Marty's great. Marty actually came to my house and worked with me. Does anybody want to hear from Marty at some point? What that's like? Yeah. Marty, do you have a minute? I want to cover something, then I'll bring you on before the next session. Is that cool? Saba. And Marty, you let me know if you're when you come to Dubai, okay? Oh, and if you're at FHL, let's hook up as well. By the way, guys, for those of you that submitted your deposits for Epic Pitch Mastery, and you're going to be I forgot to mention this, I am doing a meetup at FHL. You will be able to meet me and hang out. We're going to do something cool at FHL. So if you're going, I will be doing something there privately for you guys. I'll rent a room or something. It'll be fun. Okay. So would you guys like to learn why people don't buy on a psychological, scientific level? And why you don't do things to transform your life as well. Okay? All right. So what is your mind naturally at its core level designed to do? What is it designed to do? To keep you what? It's designed to keep you what? Safe. Exactly. It's designed to keep you safe. Okay? Now, you know, I really should get better at handwriting. Okay. Your mind is designed to keep you safe. Now, what is required to get reward? What do you need to do first to gain reward? What is that thing? If you want to make money from the stock market, what do you got to do to money? Yep, you got to risk money in the stock market. That's right. So you have to risk to get reward. If you want to get jacked, you got to risk looking like an idiot in the gym. If you want to make money from the stock market, you got to put money in first and risk it. If you want to start a YouTube channel, you got to risk saying the wrong thing and whatever. Everything of reward comes from risk. That is why an employee does not make as much as the boss. The employee only risks 8 hours of their day. The boss risks everything: their time, their family, their investment, their legal status. Because if you do something wrong in business, you can get sued. They risk everything. That's why they get paid more and do less work. Risk gets you rich, not hard work. Okay? So, if risk is required to get reward, right? So if risk is required to get reward, what is the opposite of risk? What is the opposite of risk? Safety. So, safety does not equal risk, and risk does not equal safety. But the mind is naturally designed to keep you safe, which is the opposite of risk, which is required to get reward. Which means your mind naturally is designed to keep you from being successful. Have you ever thought about that? Why do you think 99% of people are not successful? Because they're naturally programmed to be unsuccessful. Oh, you guys never thought about that, right? They're naturally programmed. If you're a human, you are already naturally programmed to not be successful by your fundamental freaking default programming. Okay? Default. And so, here's what the 1% do. If you had an issue with your car, would you take it to a mechanic who said he didn't know how engines work? Would you do that? You probably would want the mechanic to know how engines work, right? Well, if you want to become a millionaire, what is the number one tool you use to do that? What is it? Tell me in the chat. What is it? It's your what? What is it? It's your mind. Exactly. It's your mind. So would that not make sense that if you want to be a millionaire, it's very helpful to understand how your mind works? Would you say that is helpful? I would say so. This is how your mind works. You see, the 1% realize that when something logically makes sense, and they're like, oh, wow, of course, that makes sense. That will make me more money. That will help me lose weight. That will make life better. But then they go to actually pay the money to do it. They get hot. They get nervous. They get a feeling in their stomach. And they go, I don't feel like it's the right time. And my gut feeling or whatever, okay? You know what that is? Your mind goes, yeah, that makes sense. And then you go to grab your wallet, and then your mind goes, whoa, danger, Will Robinson, that's not safe. Don't do that. Natural, default, state, primal, which then prevents you from risking it, which then prevents you from getting the reward, which then prevents you from being successful in whatever you're trying to do. And this is why psychologically this happens. So when you are trying to sell someone something on something, and I mean, how many of you ever experienced this? People are like, no, this makes sense, I'm in. But then when it comes time to pay, they're like, eh. How many of you have experienced that? It's because of this process that happens. And if you don't understand this process, you can't help them get through this process. And you cannot take control of your life, because the 1% know that that feeling of fear is normal. And they wave to it as it goes by, and they just do it scared. Because they know that it's not real. It's just a part of being human. Because that's how their mind works. They understand how their mind works, and they go, oh, I'm supposed to be afraid. Yeah, that's normal. Duh. You think boxers are, I mean, I heard Mike Tyson one time, he said, I was afraid every time. Did Mike Tyson seem afraid of you? No. He just did it scared. And look, you are programmed to think this. You are programmed. Movies, TV, they build champions up to be fearless, but champions aren't fearless. They just do it scared. Think about that. Guys, who here is the greatest baseball player of all time? Let me know in the chat. Who is the greatest baseball player of all time? Who is it? Babe Ruth. Babe Ruth. Okay. Now, Babe Ruth has not hit the most home runs. He's not stolen the most bases. He's not won the most World Series, and his stats are not as good as a lot of modern day players. So why is he still considered the greatest? Can you tell me that? Psychologically, can you tell me why? Why? Do you know why? Because today, players get on a jet and go to the next game. They're not on a bus going for hours. They get massages in between games. They have modern technology and training. Back when Babe Ruth did what he did, they had none of those resources. They didn't have they had a fraction of what modern players have today. And in fact, modern baseball seasons play way more games. So there's way more at-bats. Babe Ruth is considered the greatest, not because of what he did, but because of what he did with limited resources. You don't get credit for what you do when the conditions are ideal. You get credit for what you do when the conditions are not ideal. Think about it. You're not special if you only succeed in times of triumph. You're special if you succeed in times of struggle. Because look, it's always the wrong time. It's never the right time. You never have enough money. Oh, this person's getting married. That person, well, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. Guys, how many of you here, let me just give you an example. And you can do the same example for your clients. How many of you here are interested in working with me, but you're just like, oh, I just don't have the money? Say me if that's you. Me. Okay. How long do you want that to be how long do you want to be the person that has to comment me? How much longer do you want that to be the case? That when you want something, it's not $1 million, it's not 500 grand, it's not 100 grand, it's 25 grand. How much longer do you not, that's a car, that's a cheap car. How much longer do you want that to be the case? I wanted to work so bad with so many people when I was coming up. And I one day I just got resourceful. I just Babe Ruthed it. And I was on my way. And I ended up then spending 500 grand, now probably almost 600 grand in coaching. And I've turned that into now well over $30 million. Do you know why? Because I'll tell you why, because I'm a golfer. You know what's funny? You know what really got me? How many of you guys are afraid to invest? Anybody here afraid to invest? Anybody here afraid to invest? Because here's the thing. You're going to pay no matter what. You're either going to pay in lost sales or you're going to pay in knowing how to prevent lost sales. Which one do you think in the long run is going to pay off? Either way, you're going to pay. Now, here's when I realized it. Here's what really got me over the line that changed my mindset. I was golfing one day, and I used to play in a golf league, and I could not fix this slice in my swing. And I was a pretty good golfer. I got like third place, second place. I was pretty good, and I couldn't get it. And there was this other guy, and we were young. So he was like a kid. We were kids. We were like young adults, and he wasn't that good. He would never placed. He never won anything. So he wasn't even as good of a golfer as me. And I'm sitting there and I'm getting angry for an hour. I'm at the driving range. I'm like, how do I fix this freaking thing? And he goes and he walks over and he's about 10 feet away and he looks at me and he goes, oh, well, when you swing, you're putting you're like shifting your foot out every time you swing. I said, what? He said, yeah, whenever you swing, you like move your foot for some reason. I was like, really? He's like, yeah. He's like, yeah, you can't see it. I'm like, what do you mean I can't see it? Well, you're too close to it. Your arms are in the way. Of course you can't see it. He's like, I can see it. I'm standing over here. I can see it. I was like, what? And I thought about it. I was like, he just fit. And I did it. I didn't. Okay. I swung. I didn't move my foot right down the pike. And I thought about it. And I was like, wait a minute. I'm a better golfer than this guy even. But I couldn't see what I was doing because I was too close to it. My arms were, I couldn't see it. He stood 10 feet away. He could see it clearly. And I fixed my swing that day, but I also realized, man, that's why people hire help and coaching and mentors and consultants, is because not necessarily because they're better, but because they're not so close to what you do that you're blinded by it. They can just stand 10 feet away and go, oh, well, that's why. Something that you can't see because you're just so close to it. You're so invested. Guys, I come up with way better marketing for my clients than I do myself. Seriously, I do. Because like if I was consulting me, I'd be like, that's too much content for your event. Way too much content. Way too much. You're going to rush through that. Way too much. Workbook's too complicated. Way too much. Way too much. But I'm in it. So I'm like, no, they're going to love this, right? You need somebody to stand 10 feet away. So What?
I think we all appreciate that level of honesty right there, especially how you did it, because that's how you do it.
Yeah, I do. I do. I'm like looking at this workbook. I'm like, it's a great workbook, but it's like 5 times too long. You know, and I wanted to do this challenge before the end of the year because I know a lot of business owners are looking for tax deductions at the end of the year. So investing in a program like this is obviously a tax deduction. So I was like, we got to get this out, and I want to go on vacation in January, and then if I delay it again, then I'll do it in February. Well, that FHL's in February, and I got to go to America. Well, then I'll do it in March. And I'm like, no, we got to do it now. Okay, we got to do it now. So, how much is the invest? So if you go to epicpitch.com/offer, the information is there. It's Epic Pitch Mastery is $25,000 and private client is $50,000. Okay, so when I was a kid, and maybe you guys remember this, I was scared to fly because here's what happened. When I was a kid, and this will blow your mind. When I was a kid, I was on a plane, and I was not afraid of flying. I used to, back before all the security, I was like 10 years old, and the Delta flight attendants would let me put on a Delta apron, and I would help serve peanuts, and I thought it was so cool. I love flying. Until one day I'm on a plane, and we hit an air pocket and the plane dropped like several hundred feet. Boom. And I was in the bathroom and I literally came up off the toilet, cracked my head on the ceiling, broke the ceiling, slammed back down on the toilet. I come out, there's food all over the floor. My mother's crying. There's a child upside down. And it was just a bad turbulence. That was it. And that one event scared me so much that I didn't fly again for years. I bought masterminds for $30,000. I never went to the meetings because I was too afraid to get on the plane. I missed speaking events that would have been great opportunities for me. And I never went because I was so afraid of flying. And see, what happens is we start out with a clean slate. Okay, we start out when we're born with an empty box, right? The box is empty. It's a clean slate. But at some point in our lives, things happen. An event happens. For me, it was the plane. It was the dipping. That event creates generally a misunderstanding of how the world works because it's a single moment in time. It is just one thing out of the billions of moments in time. So that creates a misunderstanding, right? Which then forms a belief. That event creates a misunderstanding, which forms a belief. Now, because that event only happened once, I only had that happen. I literally had that plane drop. But there are thousands of flights that happen every day that doesn't happen on. So that single event created a misunderstanding, which created a belief. But because it was a single moment in time, it created what we call a false belief. That false belief then went onto my slate. And there it was. And there it sat for years. And then other events happen in your life. They create misunderstandings, which create false beliefs, which go on your slate. And as your slate gets dirtier and dirtier and more full, when you, up here, here's you, when you have a goal that you want to achieve, and your slate is dirty and it has all these roadblocks, it's hard for you to get around it to get to the goal. Because of all these single events that created misunderstandings, that created false beliefs, that clogged up your path to success, preventing you from getting to your goal. And so, getting to your goal is not just about learning stuff. It's about changing your beliefs so that you can clean the slate, so that you can just get to the goal. The point here is that many of you don't do the things you need to do, or you don't try, or you don't invest, or you don't put aside the time because an event happened in your life that created a misunderstanding, that formed a false belief, that went on your slate, that made it difficult for you to achieve your goal. And unfortunately, as we grow older, more events happen, more misunderstanding happens, more false beliefs happen, and the slate gets dirtier and dirtier and dirtier and dirtier. And what you need, what a mentor does and what it's done for me, is the mentor not only teaches you stuff, but he comes along and he educates you on why these events actually messed up your brain and made you believe a false reality that doesn't exist, like, oh, I can't charge that much. Oh, people won't come to my event. Oh, I can't build a brand that people love. Oh, I'm not special. Oh, I don't have anything about me that I could talk about that would make people attracted to me. Oh, I can't I'm not going to be able to get people to pay that much. I'm going to need a sales team. I don't want to manage a sales team. Nobody's good at sales. I'm going to have to do all this. Oh my God, I can't get 10 clients without blah, 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 blah. I can't lose weight. I can't talk. I can't do this. I can't do that. And they help you get rid of these so that the slate gets cleared so that they can teach you. Guys, it will not take me long to show you how to create a friggin' paid presentation that'll get you clients. Andy never, I don't know what happened to Andy. He must have went through therapy or something, because the guy literally had no false beliefs. He just did exactly what I said, and he's my most successful client. Meryl's another example. Just did exactly what I said. He's successful. Laurel's another example. She did exactly what I said. I have other people who I've had to work with longer to get rid of these beliefs, and then they were successful. The truth is, part of your paid presentation is getting rid of this crap so that when you do work with them, it's 10 times easier. Guys, if let's say some of you decided to work with me and I was like, all right, here's what we're going to do. Don't you think that you would give me way more resistance if you didn't attend this event than if you did? See, the truth is, after this event, we can get to freaking work. I don't have to go through all this. I don't got to be like, oh, let me draw the stupid little thing on the friggin' board. I can just be like, here, say this, do this, do this. Here. All right, what? No, that's a good title for your event. Okay, yep, nope, that one. Yep, nope, this. Okay, nope, no, charge this. Okay, done. Because I've already cleaned the slate during the event. I don't want you to just invest. I want you to come in ready to work, because I don't want to go crazy. Okay, like I know how to get you the result. I just don't want to argue about it. Okay, so does this make sense, guys? Does this make sense? You think I'm selling you, but I'm actually preparing you. And that's what you need to do. You need to prepare your clients. Speaking of flying, I will, I got something good for you guys next. Okay, speaking of flying, I'll tell you this. Amelia Earhart is one of my favorite aviators because she was such an underdog, man. Nobody thought she could fly. She said she was gonna do a transatlantic flight. Nobody thought she could do it. Most people said she couldn't even fly a plane. And do you know why? Not because it was hard. You know why they said? Because she was a woman. A woman can't fly a plane. A woman can't do this. Why can't a woman fly a plane? Oh, we're not asking him to beat Mike Tyson in a fight. You do this and you press buttons and you just learn how to fly a plane. Like, I'm not saying it's easy, but it's not something that requires different appendages or different DNA. I always used to think that was so stupid. Like, women can't fly planes. Where's the logic behind that? If you said women can't, beat Mike Tyson, I'd be like, okay, well, most people can't beat Mike Tyson, but I guess I see your point. They're smaller framed. They don't have as much muscle. Okay. But flying a plane? Stupid, right? But people said that. Dumb stuff like that. And not only did she fly a plane, she was the first woman to ever fly a plane transatlantic. She proved them all wrong. Oh yeah, that's right. They thought she was mentally incapable. It's Amelia Earhart, man. Like, come on. How do you not love Amelia Earhart? Okay. One of her quotes that she said that has always stuck with me is this. Listen. The most difficult thing is the decision to act. The rest is merely tenacity. Like I said before, 99% of what makes you successful in life is your attitude. A little bit of skill. If you make the decision to act and you have the tenacity, you can do anything in life. Whether that's losing weight, whether that's building a business, whether that's working with me, working with someone else, or doing this or that or whatever. If you make the decision to act, you just need to bring the attitude, okay? So, whoops, there we go. All right. From idea to income, your first presentation in 48 hours. What if I told you that most of your potential clients are ready to buy right now, they just can't understand what you're selling? So, in 1955, Walt Disney was trying to fund Disneyland. He was trying to fund Disneyland. And he went to the bankers and he went and he asked for the money and he tried to get them to give him the money and he went through all the, oh, this is how much it'll make, this is that. And they told him he was crazy. And do you know why they told him he was crazy? Do you know why? Because theme parks didn't exist. There was no such thing as theme parks. It was a new concept. So they just couldn't really understand the concept, right? Until one day he hired an artist. And the artist helped him draw a map of the park. And on the map, he had, he had the castles, okay? He had the castles, and he had a magical street, and he drew characters like Mickey Mouse, which I just made look like Satan. I'm so sorry. And God, I really am terrible at drawing. And he just, he drew restaurants and all this stuff. And he goes to the bankers and he says, look, this is Disneyland. This is a magical castle. This is a magical street that families can walk down and then they can meet their favorite characters. That's better. And then they can go and eat. And and then there's these rides, right? There's these rides that they can go on, and he draws the whole thing out. And he made them see Disneyland. Guys, when you teach, you need to use words that make people see. You need to do things that make people see. People think in pictures. Why do you think most people read or watch movies rather than read books? Because it requires more brain power to read a book than watch a movie. Why? Because think about this. When you read a book, do you not picture the words on the page in your mind happening? Do you not visually see it? When somebody says, oh, I just can't see myself doing that, that's why they don't do it, because they can't see themselves doing it. You see, when you read a book and you're reading, you only have the words. So you have to mentally process those words and create an image in your mind. When you watch a movie, the image is already created for you, so it's way less work on your brain to watch the movie. That's why people want to watch movies instead of books, because it's easier processing. So when you pitch, guys, if you just tell them, well, you're now you're not making them do the work to picture your vision in their mind. But if you paint it out if you do it visually, if you draw it, if you use words like I went into my house and there was 3 bags on the floor and I opened the door and my girlfriend was staring me in the face and she says, Dan, you've been delivering pizza for 7 years, you're not going anywhere in life, versus, oh, my girlfriend left me and I realized that I wasn't going anywhere in life. Or you draw it out, you map it out. I'm terrible at drawing. I'm terrible at drawing. I suck. I've always been terrible at drawing. But if I draw the thing I'm trying to tell you, you'll at least be able to see it. And when he drew that, immediately, that single clear drawing helped him secure $17 million in funding from ABC, and for the first time, investors could see his vision, and it turned into Disneyland, Disney World, Disney Plus, Disney this, Disney that. Show them the castle, not the construction plans. The quote in your workbook is this: confusion kills conversions. Clarity creates customers. So here's what I want to do. I want to show you my map. We're going to bring on David here in about 20 minutes, but I want to show you my map. All right? It's very simple, guys. You need to create the right offer. You need to say the right thing. And then you simply need to fill the room with the right people. I want to help you do that. So my offer, my Disneyland, is very simple. Epic Pitch Mastery. We're going to start with the offer, and we're going to do these workshops. And these workshops, you're going to come on a Zoom like this. It's obviously going to be way less people. And I'm going to show you how to do step one. And then we're going to chat, and I'm going to make sure you understand step one. And then I'm going to give you a little form to fill out that completes step one, or a little action to take that completes step one. And then my team is going to check it, and I'm going to check it. And I'm going to make sure you did it right. And once you did it right, you're going to move on to the next step. And then I'm going to teach you how to do that. And then we're going to have a chat, make sure you understand it. And then you're going to do it. And then we're going to check it. And then once we're like, that's good, you're going to move on to this. And then we're going to do the same thing, and we're going to check it. And once your offer is good, you're going to end up with an offer explanation page like mine, which is at epicpitch.com/offer, but it'll be for yours. You wind up with this. Then we're going to do the same thing. We're going to get on, and we're going to do more workshops. They're, 2-3 hours, whatever. We're just going to get it done. And we're going to do these workshops, and I'm going to help you build out your paid presentation Google Doc and your workbook and make sure it's good. Come up with the idea for your event, all that. We start with the idea for the event. We check it. We make sure it's good. We move on. We make the Google Doc. We make sure it's good. We move on. Boom. Now you have your paid presentation. Then we're going to go to the next phase, and we're going to make sure that your funnel is built and your emails and all that, and your ads are set up, and we're going to check everything. And then we're going to move you to the next phase. Okay? And you can't move from one phase to, we're going to check your funnel. We're going to look at your funnel and go, yes, that's good. Or no, it's not. Change this and move to the next. And the result of that is a profitable presentation. Now, before I tell you this next part, does this make sense? Does me drawing this out make sense? Did this make our offer a bit more clear? Because I drew it. Now, here's what I'm going to do. I'm not going to pitch this whole thing. I'm not going to go through it. You can go to epicpitch.com/offer. I don't need to pitch you. You can read what's there. You can understand the process. However, here's what I'm going to do. When you go, you will put down, if you're interested, you will put down a $1,000 refundable deposit. On the next page, you'll get my number. Once you get my number, I want you to text me. It will go to this phone. I will discuss with you personally on this actual phone if it's a fit and I think I can help you. If I don't think I can help you, I'll refund your $1,000 deposit. If I do think I can help you and we're in agreement, then I'll work with you to make the investment work. I will do my very best to make it manageable for you, to make it affordable for you, and we will keep that in-house. We won't send you to a funding company. We will do our best, and if we can't make that work, we'll refund your $1,000 deposit. Stephanie will reach out to you also because I might be going to bed when you submit it, and she's probably more on your time zone, so she'll connect with you as well, okay? Now, here's what I'm going to do. If you're thinking about this, I understand one thing. This happens quickly. We get this done very quickly. It takes a bit of time to do this, And then you got to do this. So it's a bit of a process. So it does require patience. For those of you that, and all the, by the way, the first 4 workshops, the dates are on there. This whole process takes about 12 to 15 weeks to do. I understand it's 12 to 15 weeks, but once you have it, you have a machine that can print clients. But I know you don't want to wait 12 to 15 weeks. I get that. So here's what I'm going to do. 2 things. One, we're going to do the book in a day workshop, or I'm at least going to send you a training on the book in a day workshop so you can get leads now and send them to your offer explanation page. But here's what I'm going to do. For anybody that submits their deposit today before we end the stream, before we end to day 3. And remember, it's refundable. Just submit your deposit and we'll try to make it. You might be surprised that we can make it more affordable for you than you think, okay? We will work with you. We will try, okay? But here's what I'm gonna do. Right here, for anybody, and if you've already done this, I got you as well. For anybody that submits their deposit today, here's what I will do. You're gonna get this done within the first 3 weeks. This will be very quick. Once this is done, it's very easy to send people to this from like a short 10-minute webinar or a VSL and actually pick up some clients soon. I don't want you to have to wait for your paid presentation to be completely done and this and that. So here's what I'll do. For anybody that submits a deposit today, once your offer explanation page is done and we've approved it, my team, will personally write you a pitch, a short VSL that you can use. All you have to do is read it and do what we say. It'll go to this page and you can use this to get clients now while this is all being built out. And we will write it for you. And do you know why we can write it for you? Because if I just wrote it for you randomly, it would be very hard and I wouldn't want to do it. And my copywriter, Charlene, would want to stab herself in the face with an iPick. But if I make sure your offer is good, she says, this is all. If I make sure your offer is good and I make sure that the structure is good and everything is good and it's speaking to the right audience, which I will personally help you do on these workshops, then once we have this and it's good, doing this is extraordinarily easy for us. Literally, and Charlene says, guys, when you've got your offer in place, 90% of the copy is basically done already. Exactly, that's what most people don't get. So we will write it for you. You just film it. Just read it. You can even put it on a friggin' sales page if you want. How's that for an offer? That's how much I want to help you. I want to help you get a return quickly. This is the nuclear bomb, but we can help you send missiles now. So, and by the way, I am on these workshops. You will get to work with me, and when the workshops are done, we will be doing weekly coaching calls. Me and Carla will switch every other week. One week it'll be me, and you can talk to me, and we can talk. Mic's on. The next week it will be Carla. The next week it'll be me. The next week it'll be Carla. And Carla has helped write offers and help my clients for years, probably like 5 years, 6 years now. Okay? I wouldn't keep her around that long if she wasn't good. So that's what I got for you guys. Epic pitch. .com/offer. epicpitch.com/offer. Yes, the deposit is $1,000. Here's why I do the deposit. I do the deposit because If I just gave you my number and I said, text me, my phone would blow up. I wouldn't be able to get back to you. So by doing the deposit, it ensures that you're actually serious. I can actually talk to you, give you my attention. And but by the way, for those of you, real quick in the chat, for those of you who have already applied, did I not text you back? Did I text you back? Let me know in the chat. Yes. And did I not have an actual conversation with you? Yes. Boom. Look at all the yeses. See, all these people applied and I had an actual conversation with them and it was me. I am not a liar. You will talk to me. Now, obviously I haven't talked to them in hours because I'm on the thing, but you submit your deposit. Kayron's in. Kayron's in. Mitch was surprised. I sent him a video. I'm like, bro, it's me. Okay. Kayron's in. Amazing. Kayron. Hey, can we bring Kayron for a second? Oh, Shanda. Oh my gosh. Shanda. Oh, I thought I saw your text come up when I saw this here. It was 1 a.m. when you texted me back. Bert says, yeah, I know. My sleep schedule's all messed up. It's time. Oh, I would love to work with you. You're one of my favorite people in the whole world. Real quick, let's bring Kayron up for 2 minutes. Kayron, tell me what drove you to join, to apply.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. What's up, man?
No, first of all, thank you. This is amazing. One thing that I know is people teach me if you think you've taught too much, you don't know enough. And you've just given us so much. Like I'm already super excited, right? And everything you're saying is just so on point with where I'm going with it. And I'm just excited, I'm just excited.
Awesome. I'm excited as well. I'm excited as well to work with you. I love your energy too. You bring that energy to a cameraman. Woo!
Yeah. So yeah, I do this. Like I'm a speaker. We have a very similar energy. Like and your passion, you can't fake it. I
Yeah.
mean, you can do emotional stuff. People can learn that, but it's just a certain authentic passion that you can't fake. That's why it's so much information in here, because you have so much passion for this stuff. You know
I
what I'm
know.
saying?
Which I'm gonna cut it. I'm gonna cut it for the next one. I've realized that. I'm like, oh my God, this is too much. So
Listen, I loved it. I cancel meetings to stay on here. Like, I'm 6.5 hours. So I'm like, yeah, I'm in.
yeah. Awesome, brother. Awesome. Okay, so how this is gonna work, text me, okay? And I'll have a chat with you, make sure that it's a fit. And then if we agree it's a fit, we'll work out the investment we'll try to make it work for you and boom, move forward and we'll get going. Okay?
Sounds good. I'm filling it out right now.
All right, awesome, man. By the way, guys, I'm gonna do a coffee meet and greet call. It's just a chill call. It'll be about 2 hours. I believe we're gonna do it on Saturday or Sunday. Joe will get you the details for anybody who has already decided to get in and sent their payment. We're just gonna hang out and talk on Zoom. I'll get to know you better. I'll get to know what you do better, which will help me prepare for the workshops. Okay, so if you want to be a part of that coffee welcome call, boom. Daniel says if it's not a fit, you still build the whole thing. No. The deposit is to speak to me over text, so that I know you're serious. If we decide it's not a fit, I refund your deposit and I might recommend somebody better to work with you. If we determine it's a fit and we can make the payment arrangement work, then we go ahead and do that. We get you in the program, we get to work. That's very simple, okay? I don't do sales calls though. I'll chat with you over text. I don't believe in, obviously, I think I've made my point why I don't believe in sales calls and I don't believe in sales teams. So I'm happy to chat with you over text personally, okay? I'm stuck in the checkout page getting the spinning wheel. If anything happens with the payment or the deposit or any of that, we'll fix it, okay? So don't worry, don't stress. We'll fix it. Tech issues happen, obviously. Facebook's freaking down. What can we do? We'll fix it, don't worry. If it double charges you or something, don't worry, we got you. Shanda, can we bring Shanda on real quick? You can turn on her camera too, if you want, Shanda. And I haven't talked to her in a minute. Is Shanda on?
I'm here.
Hey, what's up? Oh,
Hey.
What's up? How you doing?
I'm good. Good.
Hey,
It's
you look
been
so great.
thank you.
Yeah, both of us, both me and Shanda went through a very big body transformation, and we got
Yes.
looking good. So,
Absolutely.
oh man, so wow, so what am I helping you with, huh? I mean, I already know what you do because you do it for me. So,
Yeah. Well, you've always told me I need to charge more, first of all. So I know that you're gonna help me figure out my offer and it's time to. It's just time. And you said something today. You said you're gonna pay either way. You're either gonna pay, for coaching or you're gonna pay in lost sales. And it makes so much sense.
yeah, absolutely. And I've been telling you for years, you do what you do for me. And I always feel bad when I pay you because I'm like, Joe, don't you feel bad when you pay Shanda every time she designs a book for us and does a book? I'm just like, why? So I'm telling you, you absolutely should. I would love to work with you on an offer for this
This,
because, yeah.
there's nobody in the world I want to coach me more than you. I've always wanted you to coach me. So now it's just time.
I would be honored. I would absolutely be honored. I want to fix that thing I've been telling you that needs to be fixed for years. So,
You're you're the one that can get it done.
I will confidently say I believe I can. Thank you. Absolutely. Are you going to FHL?
I should. Now that I know you're doing a meetup, I probably will.
Yeah, I'm gonna do a meetup. I'm gonna try to rent a room and do a not like a 10-minute thing, like a thing, right? And I'll talk with Joe about it. We'll get it set up. So if anybody's going to Funnel Hacking Live, which is the annual marketing conference that Russell Brunson holds, oh, I'm actually doing a thing there. I'm interviewing. I don't. Oh, wait. I don't know if I should say this. Oh no. I might be interviewing some. No. Okay. All right. No. I won't say it. I won't say it. I won't say it. I'll be doing something that think of the most amazing possible thing that could happen. Two people that would get on stage and talk to each other and jam. Think of that perfect scenario. What would that be? And that's what it is. That's all.
Just stop. Just leave it alone.
Okay. All right. No, better. But I gotta stop. Okay. Russell will be so mad at me. Okay. All right, guys. Shanda, thank you so much. I'll text you back. I got your text right here. And Bert, I got yours as well. And yep. I got you guys. Okay. I'm gonna put a break video on, and then that'll give me a second to rest. And then is David ready?
David is in the house and he is ready.
Oh, okay. Okay, so let me very quickly. I want to tell you this. Guys. What you're about to see is amazing. So, several years ago, I was on YouTube and I saw this presentation called Death by PowerPoint. And I'm just so giddy about this. And it had nothing to do with webinars. It had nothing to do with like selling. It was just how to do good PowerPoints, right? And I'm watching this guy, and first I noticed he's an amazing speaker. I mean, he was just like every word was intention. I was just like, God, I wish I was as good as this guy. And he explains how to psychologically do a PowerPoint. And by the way, if you guys haven't seen Death by PowerPoint, I literally for years have told you, if you do webinars, if you do anything with slides or boards, you have to watch Death by PowerPoint. You are literally costing yourself money if you don't. And he explained how, like, I believe it was if it has more than a certain amount of elements on the page, people's brains get fried and they can't understand it. So if you ever watched my webinars, have you ever noticed there's only a very small amount of elements on the page? Like it's always like only a few, right? I never cloud it with a bunch of stuff. It's always like very simple, and it's like boxes, and I'm drawing like very simple boxes, and I'm doing this very simple stuff. You guys notice that, right? I learned that from David. And so I do it, and my webinars just start converting so much better. And this was not a marketing thing. This was not a Russell Brunson thing. This was not a this or that thing. I got it from this video that had nothing to do with webinars. And then I saw another one from him called The Magical Science of Storytelling. And he was explaining how you can literally create oxytocin and serotonin and testosterone in someone's brain by the words you choose. And you can elicit emotions. And I'm just like freaking out, right? I must have watched that TED Talk. These are TED Talks, right? Not only are they some of the most watched TED Talks ever, but I probably contributed to at least 100 views on that TED Talk. I watched it so many times. It's amazing. And I bought some of his stuff. I went through it. I learned just little hand gestures. And I know he's probably watching me right now and noticing all the things I'm doing wrong. And I still haven't been able to find my glasses, so I go several months ago to London. I get asked to speak at an event. I was doing a repitch at an event. And I go there, and it was John Pentworthy's event, and I was so busy, I'm there to do repitch. I did not know David was speaking, and I get there, and I see that he's speaking, and I'm freaking out, right? I'm like, dude, I get to see David J. Phillips speak? And so we can make him co-host. And so Joe, go ahead and do that. And so I go in the speaker room, the green room, and I walk up, and I introduce myself, and I'm just like, this is amazing, right? So we chat, and he's like, well, let me take notes on your presentation. So I go up, I get up there, and he like has this page of notes. I did great. I converted, I helped sell a ton of stuff, but he takes these notes, and he's like, Dan, you need to get different glasses. I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, well, your glasses are loose, so you're constantly fixing them, which is distracting from what you're saying. And I have looked for those damn glasses in Dubai, and I cannot find them. And I definitely have to fix these. So he's probably like, don't need to fix the glasses. But just that little thing he noticed. And so anyway, we end up chatting. He comes to Dubai. We had dinner. We exchanged knowledge. Amazing. And I asked him, my brother, can you speak at my event? Can you do a little session? And he agreed. And guys, what you are about to see is going to blow your freaking minds, okay? So I'm very honored to have him here. Very, very honored to call myself a fan and a friend of Mr. David J. Phillips. Can we bring him on?
På tre.
Oh, yes!
Man, it is awesome to see you, Dan. Hey! I miss you from Dubai.
Yes, brother. Let me spotlight your video.
Yeah. So I just landed from Düsseldorf, Germany, and drove like a madman here, got in time to the studio, and we're currently in Sweden. This is where the studio is. I think Dan is frozen, but...
There we go.
There we go, he's back. All right. Having a good evening, Dan?
I'm having a fantastic evening. Absolutely splendid and fantastic and magical evening, David. Absolutely. You can hear that by the dings on my phone.
It is simply sublime. It is simply sublime. All right. So the thing is this, that, yes, I met Dan first time. I met him physically in London. I was in Dubai, I think 2 or 3 weeks ago. I was doing a keynote there. We met up at his house. First time I got a true, proper sit down with him. Now, I've been doing this for 25 years. I've been meeting professionals of absolutely all levels. I've been coaching the top of the top of the top of the game in most industries. I have never, honestly, come across anyone which breathes, eats, sleeps, thinks, and just is the embodiment of sales. I am so impressed by you, Dan. The way you think is the first time I have truly become inspired in the last 5 years of my life. So thank you for doing what you do. Thank you for devoting your life to understanding sales to the extent that you do. I admire that. I admire that because I know what it takes. And thank you for inviting me to be here. I have spent an equal amount of obsession, an equal amount of time to my absolute love in life, which is how to communicate the message. Because the thing is this, that all of you here today, let's imagine that you have an amazing product, you have an amazing service, right? Dan teaches you how to pitch that, how to sell it, which is incredible. But sometimes you'll notice that even if you have an amazing product and you have an amazing pitch, if you don't know how to deliver it, you're lost. So to give you an example, imagine that this chair here, beautiful chair, I'll place it here in the middle. Imagine that this is your product, your service. This is what you want somebody else to believe in, right? This is your purpose. This is your passion. This gives you two options. Either you stand on this side of the chair, shoot from the hip, you hope for the best. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But you haven't got that consistency like Dan has when he walks up on stage, where he knows that when he walks up and he does a pitch, he wins. How does he know that? Because he's on this side of the chair. What's the difference? Well, people on this side of the chair, they know exactly what they're doing in every instance of time. They know that by leaning forwards, they grab attention. They know that by slowing down pace, they increase clarity. And they know that every time they lower their volume, attention is increased even more. And they know for an absolute fact that they can take an entire room and make it silent just by pausing. This person over here will beat the living daylights out of this person over and over and over and over and over again. All of this is just skill, nothing else. Dan wasn't born with it. I wasn't born with it. This isn't genetical. I'm an introvert, for God's sake, you know? And I think maybe it's because I was an introvert that I became a specialist on this, because I had to figure out what made the popular people in my class popular. I wasn't popular. I was bullied. I was hated. I never got anything for free, but so many others did. And I think that's where it started, me analyzing what other people were doing. And as Dan mentioned, these are my TEDx talks, or TED Talks. These are closing on 13 million views. They're among the biggest or most viewed in public speaking in the world. All of these have together brought in a revenue of about 15 million US dollars. All of these are more or less webinars. All of these offer an idea which people buy into. And as Dan said, just as a recommendation, this one is called How to Avoid Death by PowerPoint. If you build PowerPoints, please look at that. This one's called The Magical Science of Storytelling. Now, storytelling is probably, I think, if you, Dan, your absolute strength is storytelling. Like, you are so mind-blowingly, mind-bendingly good at it that is part of what inspires me so much. So I think that's a big part of what we learn from you, is using stories to move people from A to B. Stories are so powerful that they create the wars that rage on this planet every single day. The stories we believe in can move mountains. Moving mountains, imagine then what stories can do for your products and your services. This is the craziest talk I've ever done. the most crazy obsession, the third TED Talk that I did. You see, after about 12, 13 years into my profession as a communication skills coach, I asked myself, why do people behave in the way they do? I can't see you now, but if I were to see you sitting there listening at me, I would see that some of you, usually 20% of you, you have your head tilted to the left or the right. Is that true? Are you sitting with your head like this? Why are you doing that? I can't even see you. Does it affect me? No, because I can't see you, but if it wasn't a live audience, it would affect me. The thing is this, if your hamster dies, I would go instinctively, "Aww." So what you're doing on the other side of the screen, listening to me now and Dan, whenever you go like this, you're literally going, "Aww," and you're showing empathy what's being said. This is an instinctive behavior, and it's a very good listening skills. People who tend to do this get people to open up to them more. In sales, that's key. Secondly, some of you, again, I can't see you, but I am absolutely certain that some of you are nodding at the moment as I speak. You're like, yeah. I can't see you, has no effect on me. You're still doing it because it's instinctive. So if I've got a crowd of, say, 5,000 people, there will be approximately 500 people, maybe up to 750 people around the audience who nod affirmatively and they tilt their head. Every single one of them are better listeners than the others. They will get people to talk to them in a better way, more. They will learn more about people. So I thought to myself, these two skills, what happens if I give them to people who don't do this, who don't tilt, who don't nod? And they came back to me and they said, "Hey man, I've been a leader for so long. I have never been able to get people to open up in the way that they've opened up to me lately." That skill is just mind-blowing. In sales, the same thing. So I thought to myself, if there's two skills, wonder if there's more. And I went into this absolute obsession, went on to Excel, and I started typing down every single skill I could find, every single movement that you can do. Found 236, a bit too much. So I boiled that down to something that we can at least kind of digest, which is 110. So there's 110 core skills you can use in your webinars. 110 core skills you can use on your social media. And the more of them you use, the more powerful your message will become. What does it look like? Well, I love science and I love periodic tables. Let's have a look at this. This is what it looks like. These are the 110 skills any human can use when they communicate. And we can see on 62 we have the empowering head angle, which was the left or the right tilt. The amplifying head movement, which was the affirmative head nod. Now, to give you a demonstration of what this looks like and how it works, I'm going to give you a test. I'm going to show you a video. See if you, like Sherlock Holmes, can pick up the skills that I'm using in this video. See if you can analyze it live in real time. See how many of these skills you can pick up. It's a sequence of 10 seconds. Here we go. Yes, energy increase. Now, is body language important? No. Body language is imperative. To kick some over. Yes, energy increase. Now, is body language important? No. Body language is imperative. It is absolutely. So there you go. I don't know if you caught them, but there's 14 skills executed in 10 seconds. Imagine that everything you do in your webinar, everything you do on social media, everything you do in meetings and presentations, every single human interaction can be dissected into these 110 skills. Now, here's the scary part, which both me and Dan see so often, and too often that is. How many skills do you think that the average presenter uses in their webinars? Give it a number. Give it a guess in the chat. How many skills do you think the average person in a webinar uses? We got guesses of 4, 12, 30, 9, 3, 4, 3, 7. Oh my God! These people have been to some absolutely boring webinars, Dan. This is horrendous. Just to give you some kind of reference, my friends, if you are dead, you have 7 skills. If you are dead, you have 7 skills. That means that you've literally been to a funeral, every single one of you. All right. Now, to give you another reference of mind, let's have a look at how many skills do the best speakers have. So let's launch into Tony Robbins. I think a lot of us have seen Tony Robbins on stage. How many skills does he have? He is in the realms of 85 to 90 skills. So 85 to 90 of these 110 skills. When Tony speaks, he can make an entire arena of 20,000 people go silent. Why? Because he's so proficient. Dan, how many has he got? Around the same numbers. How many have I got? Around the same numbers. Thing is this, if you want to deliver at that level, if you want to, I guess, have no restriction in your sales, in your deliveries of your webinars on social media, it's the 80 number that you're looking for. However, the correct average number of skills that people use is 20. So it's quite low. So what I want to do now is I just want to share 4 of my favorites, 4 of my favorite skills. So make sure that you have a pen and paper, that you write these down, because I know that these have the power to truly affect your entire arsenal of skills. Because the skills I'm going to give you are very unique. Dan asked me to give you the best. So I'm giving you the 4 best skills. These are called mother skills. Why they are the best is because they affect other skills. So one single skill can affect up to 20 other skills. So the first one I'm going to give you is, let's go for skill 25. All right? Skill 25. Skill 25 is a filler sound. So when I'm saying I want to give that to you, what I want to say is this: don't use them. Don't use filler sounds. The interesting thing with filler sounds, well, obviously, what they are is whenever you go that's a filler sound. What's interesting is, if I were to follow you for an entire day with a pen and paper, and I would check, when do you have the highest concentration of filler sounds? When do you think that is? When do you have the highest concentration of filler sounds during a day? The answer is when you are nervous, when you're anxious, when you're uncertain, when you're afraid, when you're lying, and when you're thinking. There are 6 reasons when you have high concentrations of filler sounds. The people listening to you on the webinar have no idea why you're using them. Are you using them because you're thinking, lying, uncertain, afraid? Why are you using them? Or maybe thinking, they don't know. You should never leave communication up to the other person. Therefore, annihilate your filler sounds. Replace them with pauses. So to give you an idea of the power of this, I'll give you a demonstration. I'll give you a classical rhetorical proverb. So this is ancient stuff, 2,000 years old, but it still rings true. And it goes like this. First demonstration will have no pause, no filler sound. Listen to it. Did you know that every single decision you've ever taken in your entire life and you will take for the rest of your life is based on one thing and one thing only, and that is an emotion. If you give that emotion to the people listening, they will take the decisions you want them to take. Okay? So my coach comes in and says, hey, your volume's good, your pace is maybe a bit too fast, David, but oh my God, your pauses, they suck, David. Now when I think about it, your pauses suck. And I'm like, fair enough. And he goes, and I go, can I go again then with that advice? And he says, yeah, go again. So I go again, this time with pauses. Now I might say this, same tonality, same pace, same volume, only difference, pauses. Same proverb goes like this. Did you know that every single decision you've ever taken in your entire life and you will take for the rest of your life is based on one thing and one thing only? And that is an emotion. If you give that emotion to the people listening to you, they will take the decisions you want them to take. Is there a difference? Huge difference. Massive difference in clarity. But so many people are afraid of pauses that they add filler sounds. And that sounds like this. Did you know that every single decision you've ever taken in your entire life and you will take for the rest of your life is based on one thing and one thing only? And that is an emotion. If you give that emotion to the people listening, they will take the decisions you want them to take. I don't think you find the third version as powerful as the second version. And the second version was way more powerful than the first version. So annihilate filler sounds. Because do you know what the power of that is? The power of it is that you will be perceived as you know what you're talking about, even if you don't know what you're talking about. Imagine the power of that. Imagine getting a question from the audience, you don't really know how to answer it, but because you remove filler sounds, it seems like you know exactly what you're talking about. The opposite is also true. You may get a question from your audience, and you answer with filler sounds, and it may seem like you don't know what you're talking about, but you know what you're talking about. It's a dangerous, dangerous one. Wow. All right, I'm going to give you one more on voice, also a favorite of mine. Let's go for 9, 10, and 11. So it's going to be a little bit of a combination here. 9, 10, and 11. Listen to these two demonstrations on how important pace is. Pace, like the pace of your voice, how fast you speak. First version goes like this. Imagine a person who comes in, a speaker like me, like Dan, comes in and speaks in the webinar, speaks quite quickly and goes like, hey, we're going to go through the brain, we're going to go through the cortex, the limbic system, then we're going to move in how to the oxytocin and dopamine, how that affects us, how our biochemistry affects our decisions, and how powerful this is for your sales and the impact it will have when you sell this into your customers. Now, if you have that and you compare that to this, I'm now going to give you something which is absolutely and utterly pointless. Something that you have no use of whatsoever. And every single moment I speak is a waste of your time. Did you feel what happened in your brain? Did you feel how your brain almost went, oh, I want more of the second bit. I want more of that slow stuff. I don't want that fast bit. Isn't that fascinating? That means that when you speak, pace shouldn't be random. Pace should be deliberate. Saying that every time you want to say something that should be perceived, it doesn't have to be, but be perceived as more important, go down in pace. And every time you want something to be perceived as less important, go up in pace. So that's a super simple skill as well. Takes a bit of time to get used to, but oh my God, the clarity you create for the person sitting on the other side, it's insane compared to not doing that. The worst thing you can do in a webinar is have a constant pace all the time. Because do you know what the problem with that is? Is that you don't help them understand what is more or less important. And that's your job. So moving away from a couple of voice skills, I want to give you 2 skills on body language. And I'm going to give you 1 bonus skill, and that's it for the evening and the time that I wanted to spend with you. Well, I'd love to spend more time with you, but Dan had a 30-minute slot for me, and I just flew in from Germany. I've had 2 massive days of keynotes there, so half an hour is perfect. So the one I want to give you now is skill 45, and it's the best one out of all the 110. Oh my God. This is so powerful. It's such a powerful mother skill that it affects up to 20 other skills. Imagine that. Is there anything in your life where you can learn one thing and become better at 20 other things? Not a lot, is there? But this one works exactly like that. So what is skill 45? Skill 45 is functional gestures. Functional gestures look like this. Instead of saying 5, you say 5. Instead of saying underlined, you say it's underlined. Instead of saying we need to go in that direction. So you say this with your hands instead of we need to go in that direction. Hands and gestures help us amplify our message. It is so powerful. It boggles my mind when people say, body language isn't really that important. I don't really know what I do with my hands. Like, how can you not know what you do with your hands? Because have a look at this. I'm going to show a demonstration to you. I'm going to say one thing and it's going to be super positive. My facial expression is going to be super positive. My voice is going to be super positive, but my gestures will say the opposite. They're the only ones that will say the opposite. See which one your brain instinctively follows. All right, you ready? All of you should learn to become better presenters. If you learn to become better presenters, you will grow and you will sell more. So please learn more about your body language skills. Learn more about your voice skills. Learn more. And people will listen to what you're saying. They will listen in on your arguments. They will look on your slides. So please, please, please learn more about this. You're freaking awesome. Now, the interesting thing here is everything I said was positive. My facial expression was positive. The words were positive and my voice was positive. My body language said the opposite. And I'm very certain that you listened to my body language and relied on that to a greater extent than the words coming out of my mouth. That means that please do not take your body language for granted. Never again say, I don't know what I do with my hands. Because if you don't know what you're doing with your hands, you are quite literally, you don't know what you're saying. And if you don't know what you're saying, how can you expect to sell in the way that you want to sell, come across in the way that you want to come across? So functional gestures. Now we're going to do an exercise, you and me. I can't see you, so you just have to follow my instructions. This is very powerful. This is my last tip to you today. So I want you to put your hand out like this. Wherever you're sitting, put your hand out like this. And I'm going to show you how to do functional gestures that make you more confident and also makes you seem more confident. So first of all, we're going to do it incorrectly. Do it like this. Quarter 1, quarter 2, quarter 3, and quarter 4. That is usually how people use gestures. They're too small, they're not distinct, and they're too fast. Three mistakes are usually done. So let's make it different. Let's do this the right way. Let's do it step by step. First of all, I want you to take more space. Okay, so go with me. Again, quarter 1, quarter 2, quarter 3, and quarter 4. As soon as you take space like this, you signal to your brain that you are in control. Second thing we're going to do is more distinct. So follow me again. Q1, Q2, Q3, and Q4. Now, the only thing we're doing wrong now is that we're too fast. Gestures should preferably be slower. So let's go slow, big, and distinct. Are you with me? Here we go. Q1, Q2, Q3, and Q4. Do you feel how much more in command you are over yourself and how your confidence is literally boosted by you just going slower, bigger, and more distinct? You can't do this all the time, of course, because life and presentations is all about contrast. It's all about variation. If your weeks from Monday to Friday looked exactly the same every single week, you would get so tired of it. Therefore, you can't have distinct, big, and slow gestures all the time. If you look at Dan's way of communicating, my way of communicating, we always alternate. But at least don't get stuck in doing gestures wrong all the time by going too fast, too small, and non-distinct. Now, saying that, I want to leave you with a funny thing, and that is this. A lot of people come and ask me, well, all of these gestures and all of these things, they're quite big things, you know. Are there any like micro things out of these 110 steps? Any micro skills that are good to know? And I'm like, yeah, there's 4 of them. And they go like, cool. And I'd like to show you those 4. Are you ready? So I'm going to give you 4 key core micro skills. These are brilliant. Here we go. All right. Okay. Okay. That was that. That was the 4 skills. Did you catch them? They were audible inhale, self-laughter, gaze up, and genuine smile. 4 micro skills. I'll do them again. Here we go. Okay. All right. Here comes the story. They're very subtle. What they do is they create anticipation in the person sitting and listening. Next time you are going to go, I want to tell you a story. Okay, I'm going to share a story. And it's, okay. Okay, here we go. You just do those 4, and you boost their brains in anticipation of the story being amazing. So that's some of the skills. There are fantastic skills in this. I want to show you a video, a bit of a humorous video. Please don't do what this guy does. This guy is what we call a tumble dryer in public speaking. I don't know if you've seen tumble dryers before, but they go like this, right? So this is this is a tumble dryer. Don't do this.
New SQL Server Quickie. I hope you have enjoyed the last Quickie where I have talked about thread pool starvation in SQL Server. This SQL Server Quickie was recorded in a completely new high quality format, and this format is now the foundation.
All right, so we're looking at 23 minutes inside a bathroom. This is one of many videos. How do you think this comes across? This is just disturbing. I do social media. I've got close to 300 million views on social media. This is one of my clips. See if you can spot these skills. Here's the most powerful and simple communication trick in the book. It goes like this. As long as I have a straight head speaking to you, you get a perception of that I'm firm. But as soon as I do this and I speak to you with the same voice, you get an appreciation that I'm more empathetic. Imagine that just a tilt of the head can change your perception of what I'm saying. Now imagine what you can do if using this in interviews, on dates, any kind of communication. Tilt your head when you want to be perceived as more empathetic. Straight head when you want to be perceived as more firm. Wow. So please, these skills can be applied in absolutely everything that you do. If you want to download the 110 steps, I prepared a QR code for you, so you can just take a photo of this, go in there, into your email, and you can download the 110 steps chart, and you can start practicing that. My recommendation is print it, put it on your desk wall, and then you pick one and you start working with that one until you get good at it. And then you go in for the next one and the next one and the next one, and you aim to be as good as Dan is. I did a YouTube reaction video. Is that one posted? I think it's posted, right? Have you seen it, Dan?
Not on Dan, no.
No?
Not yet.
It's not been posted. Oh my God. We've done a official reaction video on you, Dan. And
Wait,
it's
what?
been edited by my it's been edited by my YouTube team. It's going to be it's amazing. It's not been published yet apparently. So you know, heads up, there's going to be a ping soon where we go through your body language, your voice. It's going to be crazy. All right, saying that, well, thank you all for listening in. This is my passion, so I love hearing people or seeing people listening to it. Please take care of it, because it's quite literally the most important skill in life, communication. You do it almost as often as you breathe. Dan, thank you. It has been an absolute pleasure, man.
Can't hear you, Dan.
Dan?
So
Yeah, hit your mic.
thank you so much.
There
Thank
you
you so
go.
much. As I was watching you, I was sitting there like, you know what? I could do this better. Damn it. I could do that better. Like I always do that. And I remember I bought your I think it's called Headspace.
Head gain, yeah.
Head gain. And I remember studying it, man. It was fantastic. So you guys on VIP, you got to watch this. David, did you know that Facebook and WhatsApp crashed earlier?
No
Yeah,
way.
we had hundreds of people. So we have VIP in general. VIP is just these people. General watches
my
the stream in
God.
Facebook, but Facebook crashed. And so we have hundreds of people who didn't get to see this, but we're going to post it in the group once Facebook's working and they're going to get to see this. But who you're speaking to right now are the VIPs, the people who actually paid extra here. So as I always like to say, people that pay attention. And you'll notice every single person was locked in. And so this was amazing. Everybody else is going to get to see it when we post it. Unfortunately, Zuckerberg is, man, that guy has a lot of power, right?
Yeah. It just takes down the internet. Yeah, I saw Instagram crashed as well.
Yeah. But you know what? It's okay because these things happen. And while I always say that when you do a paid presentation and you do what we are doing here and you get people in a room who are willing to sit and listen, they will have more patience to sit through and deal with these things. You know, I made an example earlier. I said, when you have a movie trailer, it has to be perfect to get you to buy a ticket. But once you've bought that ticket and you're in the seat, you are committed to the journey and you stay for the entire movie. And that's one reason I love speaking. I love doing these things. And I'm sure at a TED Talk, it's very similar. They're locked in. They're locked into your story. And I've always believed that when you get people in a room and you have butts in seats, you're given the gift of grace when these things happen. But in just a video, it's a fleeting moment. And so I'm very grateful that everybody stayed on for this. People are going to get to watch it in the group. And David, that was amazing. I love what you do. I mean, I'm a nerd and I nerd out on this stuff. And I hope everybody here has nerded out as much as I have on this. So make sure you get that chart. I actually have that chart. I've had that chart for years. And while I absolutely do not do everything perfectly, and as he was talking, I was like, crap. So I don't do everything perfectly, but I try to do it as often as I can, and it absolutely massively helps. So absolutely, definitely, you guys should practice this and follow David. Go watch his TED Talks. If anything, watch all of them, but definitely watch How to Avoid Death by PowerPoint. That changed the game for me. David, thank you so much. I'm going to see you. I'm going to see you when I come to Sweden.
And I will see you in Dubai in February.
Oh, yes. Okay,
Yes.
Awesome, brother.
You take care, my man. And all of you, thank you for your comments. The QR code didn't seem to be correct, but there's a couple of links there to it anyway. So download that, learn, go, have fun, enjoy. Bye-bye.
Awesome. Amazing. Oh, I was nerding out so much on that. As I watched him talk, I now, as I speak, am literally trying to correct several things that I was messing up because, as I told you guys before, I did put a bit too much in these workbooks, which caused me to rush. But that is the great thing about a paid presentation, is that you're given the gift of grace and you can improve it over time. And the more you improve the machine, the more the machine prints. Got to practice that stuff. Awesome. He is amazing. Should I text you again on WhatsApp? Yes. If you, Kayron, if you don't have an iPhone, you have got to text me on WhatsApp because Dubai is just a Dubai. Oh, wait, did I get you? Oh, no, I got you. I got you right here. What's up, brother? You should have got that text now. Yes. Okay, awesome. I got you. I've got a bunch of texts in here. Guys, let me get some food and I'll be happy to text you all back. Now, real quick announcements for day 3. Your homework is to, let me grab workbooks. Your homework is to Again, post your biggest takeaway in the challenge group, like you've done on day 1 and day 2. You're going to have things that you have learned that others may not have learned or missed, and by you posting it, you give them an opportunity, and then you go watch the takeaway videos as well, so maybe you gain something. Plus, it'll give you and here's what I want you to do. I want you to take what David taught you, and I want you to try to apply it to those videos that you post in the group. That'll give you an opportunity to practice, okay? And then, see, I gotta say it at the same time. Then, go to epicpitch.com/survey3. So /survey3. Please let us know how we did on day 3. I already know, but let me know anyway. And you will get your Russell Brunson pitch breakdown that I did. I filmed it this morning. I had a lot of fun with it. And so you'll get to watch that. And it's his ketone pitch, one of the pitches he did for the ketone product from years ago. It's great. It's actually very fantastic. It's probably one of the, it's just good. He's good. Also, for those of you who texted me, who applied, thank you so much. Congratulations on doing that. I will get back to you. I do want to get a little food in me. For those of you who are interested, it's epicpitch.com/offer. And right now we have 20 people exactly. Joe, is it still 20? You just texted me. So 20. Okay, we have 20 people who have put down their deposits. We have a total of 30 spots. This is not false scarcity here. You can see the chat was lighting up when I was talking about texting people. So I will take up to 30 people. We still have tomorrow and the rest till Sunday. This is going to fill up, so I highly recommend that if you're interested, you get it in. If you get your deposit in today, once we help you create your offer and your offer explanation page, we will write you a VSL to use for that so you can use it while you are working on your paid presentation. And don't worry, if you have already submitted your deposit, we'll do that for you as well. Okay, for tomorrow, we have a very awesome guest session. We have Josh coming in, and Josh is a client of mine. He's a private client. I helped him write his paid presentation, and he's done several, and they've smashed. His first one, he only had 60 people on, did $200,000. He's gonna come on and he's gonna break down some of the lessons learned from doing that. You guys are all right now at the beginning of the journey. He's over here in the journey, and so he knows what it's like to go through this. He's gonna talk about it, some lessons learned, and some things that I believe will help you to take this journey. And I'm going to be doing VIP tomorrow. Yes, we're going to do 2 hours of VIP tomorrow instead of 1. So, Joe, what time would that be? That would be 6 p.m.
10 a.m.
10 a.m.
10 a.m.
10 a.m.
Yep.
Eastern. 10 a.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. my time. I shouldn't say That's it. Yeah, so I'll see you guys tomorrow at 10 a.m. Eastern, and I'll help you. We'll do that, and then we'll have Josh come on, and that will conclude the bonus day of day 4. But if you want to get that VSL bonus, please get your deposit in today. That is not something we are going to offer. Joe, please make sure the team tags people and knows that if they submit after today, that bonus is, I don't want to make that a fake bonus. That's a real bonus.
You got it.
Awesome. Okay. Thank you all so much. I'm exhausted. Thankfully, I don't have to speak too much tomorrow. Guys, whether you decide to work with us or not, doesn't matter to me. I hope that you will take some of this stuff and you will use it. And I'd love to work with you, but most of you will not get in this round, and that's fine. I want you to use this stuff. Even if you don't build a paid presentation, just use some of this stuff. I want you to grow your businesses. I want you to make more money. I want you to have better lives for your families. I want you to do better, because that is the thing that has always, I believe in mastery. I believe in excellence, and I'm very against mediocrity. And if there's one thing I could do for you in this event, it is simply this. You came in one way and you left a little less mediocre, and a bit more of a master. You came in a bit more mediocre than you are right now, and you left way more on your way to being a millionaire than when you came in. That is my goal, to just push you ahead in the journey and give you a shove. If all I have done is that, then I will be happy. So, thank you all so much. I will see you all tomorrow at 10 a.m. Eastern. All right?